Well, hello everyone. It's Ashley from Lovely Commotion. Thanks for joining me again this Sunday. I am here to share with you my Circle Time cart. There it is. Yeah. I wanted to share what was inside of it with you today so that maybe you could get some new ideas of things that you can put in your circle time cart. So before we get started, I just want to tell you a little bit about why I decided that I would like all of my supplies for circle time in one area. So really, when you stop to think about it, all the things that you could use during circle time, I mean, it's a huge list, right? And, there's always pointers, of course. You might need markers, you might need music, you might need a pocket chart, you might need a felt board. I mean, just so many things. And so I decided rather than trying to run around the room and gather those things either beforehand and maybe forget something or forget something during my circle time, that I would try to put as many of those items near the circle time area as possible. I also wanted to just kind of be real and let you know that there isn't much in our classroom that my students cannot get into. I have this cart, the circle time cart, and then I have a small group cart. Those are the only two carts that I don't let them free play dig into. And so this one definitely, I love it because it's on rollers and it can get turned around if I need to, especially at the beginning of the year. And then they start seeing the function of it. Once we start using it and they start doing their jobs with these items during circle time, I don't really have to address it much more because they know that they're for circle time. But at the beginning, I will turn it around if that's a problem. So when you're thinking about a cart, I don't want you to get hung up on the idea that it has to be this magical cart. Like the one I have now is pretty awesome. Like I love all of its little bends. It's made of sturdy wood. It has wheels, but I didn't always have one like this. I've used a basket in the past. That's totally doable. And I've even just used like one of those rolly carts that you see everywhere now with like the three shelves. Anything that will kind of help keep you organized and keep everything there together, because if it's there, then you're more likely going to use it than trying to go find it somewhere in the room and then losing student interest as you're saying, hold on a second while I go grab, right? And so I just want to kind of share with you what was in my cart and maybe give you some ideas of things that you could add to your supply list for circle time. And granted, I can't fit everything we've ever done, in here, but this gives me a basis of tools that we do use. So as you can see in the picture, I've got, it's like a tin cubby cart there. And at the bottom, I've got some wands down there. And then in this picture, I have my pocket chart down there. I've since moved that. Um, I now have another tub in there full of scarves. And then I don't know if you can see it, but kind of behind it is my flannel board and my chart paper that we sometimes do some things with. And so I was just going to show you some pictures from my circle time chart and hope that it was helpful to you and kind of tell you what we use these pieces for. So you can see at the very top, there's CDs. And I know, like I feel like I'm aging myself saying I have CDs, but there's still some that work really well, still some that I can't play certain tracks because they're all scratched up, but I still love some of them, and it's easier for me, um, having been in the habit of just putting a CD in the CD player, to play that rather than try to find it on my phone. But I will say I do stream using my phone. We tried to use a tablet. It just was not as user friendly. And so I will pull it up on my phone and then we can use the speaker to hear that. But I do also still have CD. So maybe at one point I will not need those top two drawers and I'll be able to fill them with some other goodness. But as of right now, they're staying in there because there's some awesome CDs that I really, really love to use. And so I'm not ready to give them up yet. Drop a comment if you understand that mentality, because I, you know, I love streaming. It's wonderful. Sometimes it loads a little too long and CDs just don't do that. But anyhow, so let's move on. The first one up here is beanbags. We love beanbags. If you have ever done the Beanbag Boogie by Greg and Steve, like you need beanbags right there. We do this one quite often. I think there's two versions of it. And they practice putting the beanbag on their head and dancing around, putting it on their elbow, putting it on their back. And so it's challenging. It's getting them up and moving. I usually try to do at circle time, I usually try to make sure that we are in the middle of it moving. So we may do all of our um, job stuff at the beginning, and then we'll do a movement, and then we'll sit down and maybe have a story or an activity. And so I like to make sure these things are right here so that we can bring in that movement before the wiggles come. So if I can get the wiggles out before they start showing themselves, that's a bonus. And so that is a fun thing for bean bags. Also, I like to use bean bags. There's another video that I did about alphabet games. You could also do numerals, but just even laying alphabet cards out on the floor and having them toss a beanbag to one of the letters and saying the letters. That's a super easy and fun one. I have found that I like to do a lot of transition activities with these tools. And so what I mean by that is like after circle time, we go to snack. And so and we also have, now this did not work when I didn't have a bathroom in my room. It wasn't as easy, right? But we have a bathroom in our room, and so I will have them do an activity or one of these tasks. Like maybe they'll throw the bean bag, and whichever letter or numeral it lands closest to, they go grab it and they say it's Snape. And then they can go wash their hands. And so we just keep doing that. And it kind of slows the line down to go wash hands, which is really nice. And it also gives me some time to kind of differentiate that skill. Like I can kind of pick and choose of, okay, I'm going to make sure this child gets this letter or this numeral because I know we're working on that. And it gives me a chance to work with them without anybody else being a little distracted. Plus it's quick, right? It's quick, it's fun, and it's kind of like an exit activity, I guess, if you will, but it works really well. And so we use our beanbags a lot for those type of games too, but definitely beanbag boogie, like you need beanbags for beanbag boogie. And then we also use them just for some gross motor practice. Sometimes during indoor recess, we may use them with just a bucket or like a tub, right? Can you throwing at a target, popping them up and seeing if you can catch them. So beanbags are just so universal. And if you have a couple minutes, you can just easily throw out some beanbags and do an activity with them, whether it be catching, throwing, aiming, whether it be balancing them on your body or things like that. So also good for body part recognition too for our younger friends. So beanbags, definitely a must. We also have scarves. I just added these this year and I really like the rhythm of them. We just did them recently with one of these songs. I'm trying to think of what it is. It was Greg and Steve and shadow dancing. So you watch the friend in the middle do a move and you copy that person. You be their shadow. And so we use the scarves for this one. Normally we just dance. And so it really encouraged them to move their body differently to make the scarves move differently. And it was interesting to see what they came up with to do with the scarves. I just like to use them for Simon Says games, like put your scarf behind your back. And we're working on, listening with purpose and also body parts and locations, right? Put your scarf under your chin. So we're working on under. Just so many simple, quick little ways that you can use these things if you just get creative. And so we also we have enough scarves luckily for two hands. So we can do them with two hands. We can practice drumming them. We can practice crossing midline with them. And so super simple idea, right? But having those scarves right there helps remind even me, even if it's not necessarily on my lesson plan, I'm just ready to have the children go wash their hands. It's just a great, hey, we'll do scarves today. We'll do this with a scarf, or we'll put a scarf on our head and see how long it takes for us to wiggle it off, and just anything to get those bodies moving are great. After scarves I always have my calendar pieces right there. I like to use our calendar still. I actually have a blog post about this. I know that many early education classrooms are going to like more of a linear calendar, which I totally understand. And or just totally saying goodbye to the calendar. And while I agree with some of it, I also still feel like there's some really big benefits to our calendar. We don't necessarily use our calendar for today, yesterday, and tomorrow. That is not in my opinion, a good use of that calendar time. We do use it for counting. So we're orally rote counting every day up to the number. And then I have a calendar helper who is working on left to right return sweep like we do when we read. And I'll tell you what, this is something they cannot do at the beginning of the year. It's not natural to them yet to go from left to right, return back to the left, but that's how we read. And so that is one of the biggest reasons why I have kept our calendar. The rote counting daily, the left to right return sweep, and the patterning, because I use patterning cards. And so they pick up on patterning so easily when you're doing it every day. And we just, sometimes I'll do it to motions and we won't even talk. Like this one was hat mitten. And so we'd go, and we wouldn't even talk. And there was, obviously there's one AB patterns in there, but now they're having to not just hear it, but they're having to use motions to figure out what's next. So there's ways you can differentiate that. I also like to keep these nearby because the pink box in there has all of like the special event cards. And I love that a calendar can help us count down to special events, whether it be a birthday or a holiday or something going on in our classroom. We like to always put those up because, kids have a harder time understanding when that's coming. You say soon, they mean, in 5 minutes soon. And so this has helped a lot with, okay, let's count how many days until. And so I love being able to put those up there. Plus just being able to put something up there to celebrate them, right? Like it's your birthday. We're going to focus on you, and that's exciting for them to see that up there, and then they get excited for their friends. And then we, it's even led into what days we go to school. At the top of my calendar, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there's like a little home. So my calendar toppers are a little bit higher for the home and school. So on the home days, there's a picture of a home. And so like behind Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, I put up the home one. And then Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I put up the school one. And so they can kind of see, oh, so when I hop over a day, you're not going to be at school. And so it's just starting those ideas, definitely not expecting any recognition of them, but starting those ideas of tomorrow and yesterday, because they use them, right? Yesterday when they mean a couple of years ago, or even just an hour ago. They don't use them correctly, but they're starting to maybe understand those. So I like to keep the calendar stuff right there. This I had created this calendar set for my class, and it's working really well because of the patterning and because the headers on the month that I put in the calendar chart, I'm sorry, I don't have a picture of it for you, match the months that we go down. I put each kiddo's birthday next to their month on the month chart, and so they can kind of start to understand. And then when it gets closer to them graduating and going to big kid school, we'll talk about it then there too. Like we can put a little, this is when you're going to go to big kid school, and they can start to visualize that timeline. So I do like to keep that close to me. Also, instruments are great to have right there. I definitely need some more rhythm sticks. I've got to find me some. Do not have enough for everybody, but I was using we have the handwriting without tears sticks, the big lines, and those are working good too as rhythm sticks. But I love to give out some instruments and practice keeping a beat. And this is great for when, well, obviously they keep a beat for any sort of rhythm, right? We want them to be able to do that. But I also like it because it kind of translates into when we read. When we read, we get into a certain kind of rhythm. And so we like to practice the rhythm. And I like to maybe try to mix it up on them, right? Like high, low, high, low, high, low, side. And so we're just practicing those things. And also with instruments, especially with the rhythm sticks, We love to do Tap Your Sticks by Hat Palmer. Like, love it because it's great for them and it's great for following directions because he'll tell you what to do with your sticks. And they get to make a lot of noise, and that is always a bonus in their mind. And so they love this. I also love to just point out the different sounds that instruments make because, letters make different sounds. Some are very soft and we have to listen quietly. Some are very hard, harsh sounds. And so I like to use those to show a difference in sound. And so that's something else to do. And then one easy one, I'm not sure if you can see it on here, is just taking jingle bells and stringing them onto a pipe cleaner. Definitely can make enough for everybody in your class. And that's a great way where they all will have the same instrument and they can practice holding that and either clapping and making it do it, or I'll have them shake it, things like that. Great for following directions, great for keeping rhythm. Love our instruments. Probably need some more actually. This next one is super fun and it is from Play to Learn Preschool. Jamie shared these for free, but you can get these awesome little chip clips. These are called clip poems, I believe is what she calls them. Chip clip poems, yes. And I'll have a link to those, but you get the chip clips and then she has the poem card for you. And so like on this one, it's bees and then there's some ladybugs. I also have some monster ones. You can see some ducks. And at the beginning of the year, and especially with our 3s and 4s, these are awesome. They're rhymes. They're generally working on counting forward and backwards. It's kind of like the five little lady or five, actually half frogs, 5 little frogs sitting on a log thing. It's that type of thing, but it is repetitive and they love the addition of the chip clip, like just being able to do that. And so at the beginning of the year, we have as a job a song leader. And so they get to choose one of the chip clip poems and they get to do the part of taking it on or putting it off. And so super, super exciting job that everyone gets a chance to do. But check these out. I know I got the bees and ladybugs and maybe the ducks. I can't remember, from the Dollar Tree. And then I know Kohl's has some, but she has it all written out there for you. And she has the poems there for free. So super fun. We love doing these right before dismissal because we all just get to kind of come together and sing as a class and come back as kind of a community and kind of calm ourselves before we go out into the hallway and walk through the hall to go home. So these are great. Check those out. I definitely love them for beginning of the year. And so I just keep them close in my circle time chart. Puppets. Puppets are huge. This little guy that is a owl. This is Ollie the owl. And she's new from IKEA. I got her last year at IKEA. She's probably by far the favorite. We love to use Ollie. Many times she will come out, especially at the beginning of the year, to teach us about how to sit down at the carpet and how not to use loud voices because Ollie's ears are very sensitive. She's an owl. She hears very well. And so we are very careful with her. And we also use Clifford, which I just love Clifford. And I have tons of puppets. They all just won't fit in this bucket. So sometimes I'll rotate them. And then I have an elephant too in there. And then if you can see down in there, there are the little eyeballs that you can put on your hand. And I found some at Target. You may have too, that were kid-sized. It's like Party Favor or something. And those are awesome because then they can all do it with me. And so we'll practice some dexterity with, we can do some baby alligator, baby shark, mama, and use 2 fingers. Daddy used 3, right? Maybe grandpa used 4, things like that. And so we can start using that. They love those. Also, I have some sticks in there with a happy face on one side and a sad face on the other. And so if we're doing, especially at the beginning of the year, we're doing some, should we use our scissors this way or this way? And I'll say, should we use our scissors to cut? And then I'll list something and they have to show me, yes, that's a good idea, or no, that's not a good idea. Love those too. I absolutely love those. But any kind of puppets really, anytime you're feeling like you're losing attention, a puppet is the answer. You can also use them during any sort of game that you play, anything you want to add a little bit more excitement to that might be becoming a little mundane. Puppets are your answer because they and often, especially with fours and fives, they'll go, I know your hand is in there, but they still love it nonetheless, right? It's still exciting, it's still funny, it's still great to them. So having puppets right there is helpful. Also, I like to keep dice in my Circle Time cart. These are the foam ones. They're pretty big. Um, I've got the numeral one, as you can see, and the dot die. They're getting a little raggedy. They've been well loved. I love these for playing games. Simple counting games. Love that. We'll roll it. Maybe we'll stack that many cubes and then we'll roll it again and stack that many cubes. How many can we get till it all falls down? And then, when it falls down, everybody's, so exciting. And then we can switch to a numeral cube and we can start working on recognizing numerals. And we used this the other day. We were reading Love Monster and we were making our own monster and we were rolling the die to see how many eyes he got and how many horns he got and how many arms and everything. And so just great to pull out, use very simply, and everyone can see them. And many times I let them roll them. Of course, that's exciting, and they're foam, so they're not going to hurt anybody, but they're large enough for everyone to see. And I'll even pull these out for small groups sometimes if they're needing a little bit of change from the smaller dice, just because they're fun. They're big, they're fun. And so I like to keep those around just for simple counting games. And then not in the picture, but I also have a pocket chart hanging. I just want to mention that a pocket chart has been great for our Circle Time games that we do, whole group games, anything that needs a pocket chart. I also have our felt board sitting right there ready for us in case we need to use that. Depending on what kind of story we're reading, we might use that to retell our stories. I also put chart paper, as I had said before, right there, right next to us so that we can use that as well. Pointers obviously are something that we all love to have during Circle Time. And we have three really. I look at this picture and I go, why in the world were there rulers in there? I honestly don't know. I can't tell you. But there they are. Normally, no rulers. No idea. Didn't even notice when I took the picture. But we have some regular pointers, like this polka dotted one looks like a gummy bear on the end. I got it from Scholastic. Super fun. We call him Orangey Bear. Somebody named him that, so it's stuck. And we'll use him, the calendar helper uses him to count on the calendar. And then we also have wands. And that's what these ones in the middle more are, the blue with polka dots. And at the end, they just have ribbons. And I made these years and years ago. They're just like a dowel rod with like an eye hook in the top with ribbon around it. And we use this as our well-wisher job. So we have a well-wisher as a job, and that person after the greeter, and I'll tell you about the greeter in a little bit, after the greeter goes around and wishes everyone a good day. And so they sprinkle the wand, and since it's kind of long with ribbons, it's exciting, and they sprinkle it over their head of have a good day, and then we say their name. This is especially important at the beginning of the year because they're learning each other's names, and I'm making sure to say each of their names, and I really want to create that class community. And so if they don't want to have their head sprinkled with a good day, they can say no thank you, but generally they love it. And oftentimes they'll switch jobs and take that one out, and they'll request for it to come back. So those are in there as well. They get to pick that one, which wand they want to use. And then I also have these, the blue and red and kind of orange yellow. These are smackers. They're like word smackers. They came from, I think, oh, sorry about that. Didn't know I could do that. I think they came out of Learning Resources, but I could not find them. I think they're out of stock. So I think Dollar Tree had them. I saw them at Dollar Tree last back to school time, but they're great for fly swatter games. So simple. You can just put out some numeral cards, letter cards, whatever it is, and give the swatter to one of your students and call out something that that they need to find, a shape, a color, whatever, and they go and smack it, and then you take it away. Super fun, great because you can differentiate it, right? You can decide who is swatting what and when, in which order they're going in, and things like that. But will also use these for it because our fly swatter broke. And so I had these. Need to get some new fly swatters. Dollar Tree used to have those really cool ones a long time ago. Mine broke, but they had like the ladybug and the bee ones. So fun. So if I see those, I'm going to pick them up for sure. Let me know if you see those, because those just add a little bit more fun. I mean, who doesn't want to smack something with a fly swatter when you're 4? And so that just ups the excitement and adds learning in there as well. So that's what all those are in there. And then I also put up different songs and things. Just sometimes I put them in buckets. Sometimes I just, like this time I have almost like it is a whiteboard. It's a whiteboard with, the cork up there, so I can hang some stuff up there. I can also hang things off of like magnetic hooks too. But I have color songs and shape songs and songs of the month. I'll link to some of these. They're just great to pull down, especially when you have a song leader, and you can do these at the end of the day, just like the chip clip. I don't know why I can't say that. Chip clip poems. But you can pull those down. You can sing the monthly ones during when you're talking about what month it is or doing calendar. And so it's just nice to have them right there. I just pull them down and we use them. I also have this set. Whoops. Don't know what's going on here. Nope, not that one either. Okay, I also have these cards. These are just some simple activity cards. I was finding that I was having a hard time just coming up with something on the fly. And so that's what these were for. They're just circle time activity cards. They tell you on them like what skills you can use them with. And so basically I'll just pull my little cards that go with them, just like they're just alphabet cards or shape cards or color or number. And we'll just play one of these games. And I make sure to have all the materials right there in my circle time cart for these. I have these in my TBT store if you're interested. But it was just something more for me to go, what could I need a literally like a 2-minute, right? Our music time or specials time or recess, whatever, starts in a couple minutes, and I need, a couple minute activity. That's what these were for, and they were great for that. So I just have those kind of hanging around in case I need them. I also love this. I got this from the dollar spot. You can see I tried to take the label off, but it was not having it. So I just, I ain't got time for that. So this has a magnetic thing on the back. I just stick it up. I always make sure to have markers. We do our weather charts that they fill in with markers, and then I'll also use markers like on our chart paper and things like that. And so I always make sure to have those readily available, because if there's one thing that I always forget to bring or need to use on the fly, it's a marker. And so I just make sure to have them up there, and I can just move them up a little bit higher if friends are thinking they want to use markers too outside of the art center. So I love that it's magnetic. It's really helpful. So that is something I make sure to keep nearby, because I'm telling you, that is the one thing that I cannot seem to remember to bring over to the circle time area. And then here's our greeter chart, our greeter aprons, excuse me. And I have this available in my classroom jobs, and I had to change some up, as you can see on here, from COVID. So we're just waving or making a silly face or dancing together. Obviously no touching. Used to be more things like high fives, even hugs. Lots of them wanted to give hugs before the big germ, as one of my kiddos calls it. And so I had to change some of those up, hoping we can bring those back at some point. But the greeter is a job, and so the greeter that day puts on the apron and greets each child, and the child chooses how they want to be greeted that day. And I like to start off that way because it just makes sure everyone's included, everyone's seen, and we're greeting each other. We're learning how to speak to one another and how to address everyone in the room and not leave anyone out. And so creating that class community has been big with this greeter job. You can also kind of see our weather chart in the background there, and some more songs. I run out of room. I just put them everywhere that I can, and a little bit of our calendar there. But greeter has been an awesome thing for our classroom, and it is not one that I generally get rid of. I always want to make sure that they are practicing inclusion. And so this is one of the ways they can do that. So those are all the things that are kind of in my circle time cart, near my circle time. I guess not all of them would have been in the cart, but they're near it, and it keeps me organized, keeps me kind of having what I need, especially if you have a couple minutes and you are going on the fly. So I'm hoping you found some good ideas, maybe some things you hadn't thought of putting in. And then there are lots of links in this post for you in this video. I'll link it up here. Tons of different goodies and things that I've talked about today that you can just go check them all out and grab what you need. So drop me a comment. Let me know, was this helpful? Was there something new that you hadn't thought of? I would love to hear it. Have a great Sunday, everybody. Bye-bye.